Hello, I'm Tony from Ohio, and I'm here to show you how I do a technique that I've been experimenting with lately. I'm getting a lot of questions, and I've had a request to do a video tutorial, so here we go. I'll start with telling you some of the information I have on the questions I've been getting about the stones that are homemade. Yes, they are homemade. And the one that I used here, I made out of a silicone mold like this. And I got this one in particular from the Happy Dotting Company. I've got this one and this one too. So far I got 3. And these are the rocks that they make right here. Okay, so this one's like more of a, looks like a doorknob. The bottom part's slightly flat when you make it, and it has a tiny little bump on there purposely so that you'll know the center when you're making your mandalas, because that's what I think these were really created for, because of that circular design. The heart-shaped one doesn't have that little bump. So those are my molds that are reusable, and what I use in them, in case you want to know, is this vinyl cement repair that you would put on a driveway. This one, I was going to say, you can, anything silicone will work with the cement. So if you want to use this, as long as you're not going to reuse it to bake with, you could probably stick something inside of that, as long as it's not going to stick the cement afterwards. Like if you want to make, you know, just for example, like to make a candle holder. But that's, they got all kinds of different bakeware you can make with different shapes if you want to try and go that route. Or if you just want to use the natural stones, which these are. And this isn't really the 3D, but it is metallic, and I just thought it turned out kind of cool. Pretty. So I'm just putting it up with my metallic rocks that I've made. So yes, all these have a 3D design, and I'll show you how to do that right now. Okay, first of all, pick any design you want. To start with this video, I created this design, and you're welcome to use anything you see here. I just want to explain how I made this design to help me out to make it symmetrical. Is basically, you can make any of your designs you want on paper first if you want. I'll show you on paper since I've already written out. You take a protractor and you find the center of your painting, and there's a way to do it easily. If you take a square piece of paper and you fold it in a triangle, and then you snip the little tip there. When you open it back up, you'll have your center. Put it over your rock and eyeball it to make it look about as centered as you can get, and make your little circle out there. Okay, so then you put your little pin in the center, and then spin this around to get a guideline. And of course it doesn't look quite center, but that's alright. It's just, this is just kind of a demonstration. So I don't care if it looks perfect or not for this. Just want to get you the basic idea of what I'm doing here is, alright, so just 2 lines, and you can use anything for lines. You can kind of take the top of you know, a cap or a little plate, a cup, or whatever you want, you know, stick that on there. And then, okay, for this particular design, what I did was I divided it in, let me get a pencil. Of course, where did my pencil go? Here's one. Okay, so this is the outside of the rock line. This is going to be more toward this edge here, you can see. And then this middle one is going to be where this ends. Okay, so I made the center a little bit bigger until I just do it with this thing. Make a little circle here. for the center. And then what I did was I kind of did a spiral, you know. I'm just doing this real fast. I don't want to bore you, but here we go. So the inner line you would just mark like a clock, basically. Alright, and then not going to be quite a whole clock. But in between each line, you can eyeball it up and make your, like a little guide dot line there. In between this one, to mark the center, what I did is I put my little guides all the way around for the middle part. Then from each of the outside lines, I made a V. And I'm not going to go all the way around because I don't want to take that much time, and I'm just kind of doing an example anyway. That's not really quite centered real good. That's okay. You get the gist of it. On this one, the next part will be from here. I went from here to the center. And so you can either, you know, try to gap it to where the spaces are even, or you can even go like that if you want. Well, basically I did that because I kind of really wanted it rounded, but instead of rounding it, I just left it more edgy. If you want to round it, you could do that. You could do anything you want, or if you want to just use my design as it is, you can do that. Then you can use, there's dotting tools that you can use, but it doesn't matter. You can use anything, pencils or whatever. So then you can just take a dot and walk the dots like they're different. These are different sizes. Maybe you can see how the tips of them are a little bit graduated from large to small. So then you can do the dotting, and if you know what walking the dog or walking the dots is if once you dip it in paint and you walk it, the dots gradually get smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. As long as you're not adding extra paint. So you just need to make 3 of those. And if you want to, if you like the design, you're welcome to copy it. Then the next thing I did was I made sort of an inside V, and I think I came a little outside of that line and made a spiral like that. So the next step you want to do when you get to this point is you take this, and a lot of people are asking, what am I getting this 3D effect by? They think that maybe it's like hot glue. I'm not sure if paint is going to stick to hot glue because it's more like plastic. And acrylic paint doesn't really stick to plastic that good. It peels off really easily. So this is very used right here. This is what I basically started using. Actually, you can use the Tula. This is metallic dimensional fabric paint. And this one's silver, this one is black, but it doesn't matter. Once you have this bottle, keep it. Because once you have a bottle, it's the nozzle that you need. The paint inside the bottle can be any color you want. Use like whatever color you have a lot over there you don't like that you're using, and mix it to thicken it with cornstarch. So maybe put about half paint and maybe not quite half cornstarch, but then this is actually dark purple paint. So once you get your paint in there, you can mix it with whatever you want. If you want to pre-mix it first and then get it in there, that's fine. Okay, so then what you do is you take your, and this is called brighter paint. This is acrylic, and this is Americana. So then what you would do is you can turn whatever way is the easiest for you, and then just kind of try to get as light of a line as you can when you're doing this. So you don't really, like when you're doing it, try not to like push, because then it comes up like wiggly. When you're doing it, kind of hold it down and then sort of lift it so you're almost picking up the paint and dragging it in the air. This is almost empty, so it's hard not coming out too good. It's really close to being empty. So yeah, there's a tip for you. Also, when you are putting your paint down, try not to double up on your lines. Like if your lines are next to each other like that, try not to go back over the line like that, because what's going to end up happening, especially in the detailed little areas, is it's going to start to pool together. Yeah, when you're like mixing, if you make your own, just get it to the consistency where it's just not going to, you know, so it keeps its shape a little bit. And you don't want it too thick or it might not come out that little nozzle. So there you go. Then once you get to that point and you get all your design down, then here's another design. You can see kind of like the 3D effect. The marking is still there. I didn't erase it. You can if you want, but you don't have to, because for the next step I'm going to take a paintbrush and some black paint, and all you have to do is kind of just touch it up here and there wherever it is, cover it. It doesn't have to be thick. You don't want it too thick anyway, because you need those little crevices and grooves so that you can see the antiquing effect that you're going to get when you put this next paint on there. And I'll show you what I mean. So this one is a pansy design. Okay, so once you get that step done, you let your paint dry. Again, now make sure that when you put the lining paint on, oops, sorry, I gotta drop my paintbrush on the floor. So next you get out, make sure it's all dry, because you'll need it to be dry in order to put this next thing on. Here it is. And I kept it in the package. It's called Rub and Buff. This one is like $6.99, and it says Hobby Lobby on there. So this one in particular is antique gold, and you can actually get, there's bronze and there's copper and there's even colors of green. There's a wide variety of it, but for this one I used gold. For all of these I used gold. I don't know if you could see them, but these are all my homemade mold rocks, and these are all my natural rocks. So I'm going to leave that out of the way. Now I'm going to show you how this looks as I do it. And if you want to, you can do it without putting gloves on, but you'll have to kind of scrub it pretty good to get it off your hands. But I'm going to put some gloves on and just show you. This is like cool, and you don't have to paint it after you get through this part. You might like it just the way it is. So, sorry, it's taking me so long, you know. I'm not going to edit this because I don't really know how to do that yet. I'm hoping I got enough lighting on the situation here. It's probably not that light. Okay, so what I do to use this is I put some on my palm of my hand, and then make sure it's smooth on there, and then just lightly go over it. Isn't that cool? And it brings out all the details in it. So you want, the trick is though not to get it pushed so hard that you erase the black outline around that 3D paint. And you can just lightly go around the black, or, I mean, it comes out pretty cool when you have the natural stone like this. It gives it, if you just try not to make it completely solid like this one. Oops, I need to touch that up. It's nice to have that little bit of texture. When you leave the texture, it looks so like, you know, like it's cast metal. It's kind of cool. It's kind of hard not to want to make it all real gold, at least on these smooth ones on the side. I like to put a nice gold frame around it and then kind of blend it so that it, you know, you don't have that definite line between the gold and that antique black. And it doesn't really take too much to do the whole rock, you know. So at this point, you can leave the rock the way it is, and it dries really fast. I mean, as soon as you rub it in, it's pretty much on there. So, and yeah, you can paint the back black if you want, or just wipe the rust of it off your hand on there, and then put more on there later if you want. Okay, so that part, I made this really detailed because I think I want to leave this one just the way it is. And it looks pretty cool just like that. Or you can go back and add paint. So I have, what I used for that one is metallic paint. This one is the Ceramcoat Flash Metallic Purple. And that's what that looks like on there for like the flower coming off the end of the tree branch. And I used the green, the same type, Delta, to make it look like leaves coming off the tree. And there's different types of metallics too. I just found this one over at my grocery store called Myers. These are really a lot of sheen to them. It's called Extreme Sheen Delta Art Metallic Paint. I use that green, the blue for the butterfly, and use the green for this. I use the blue and green here for this. And on this, what I used for this was I mixed 3 colors. Excuse me. I used these 3 colors. This one is more of a pearl, but it's also metallic. This is Folk Art Pearl White. And I mixed the pink, purple, and white. And I came up with that. This one is the purple. And I did like a little pink outline around that. And this one I used purple and pink and tried to marble it. Marbleation, and I actually had a silver that I did on that just to try to make it stand out more. And if you want to go back and outline your stuff, like I did for this one, to make it look like bark, I used this Color Shift metallic gloss finish acrylic paint. So I just took the paint wherever you want to add a little more detail, and I took a fine lining brush and just dabbed it in where I wanted it here and there. And you can outline it. Then I have this little brush that's kind of flared, or what do you call that? Beveled edge. And it's got a really sharp, I can't remember what it's called, but a chisel, that's what it's called. So the chisel can go around here. Also, once you paint something, if you get the paint a little bit too close to the edge, you want that black to show, you can take this and it comes off. And what I was using when I did this one actually, where like at the corners I was like having to take a pencil and lift some of that paint out. You can it really shows in this when I first started doing it. It's a little sketchy because the lines were so close, and instead of letting them dry first, I did it all at once, and all the paint just pulled up, so it was like solid black in here. So that's why it looks the way it does. I had to go in there and remove some of the paint with a pencil. But that's my basic, technique there. If you want to use any design that you see, you're welcome to. And I just want to, hope I inspired somebody here to be creative and have something to do while we're sheltering in and quarantined during this pandemic. And I hope that all of you stay safe and healthy, and I hope you all stay happy at home. Thanks for letting me join your group. Have a good evening.